What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by Sam Errigo, President and CEO of Konica Minolta. How are you doing today,
I'm
Sam?
doing great, Andy. How are you?
I am awesome. We have a lovely day here in Western New York. You're missing a good one. Um, we have some very big news. We'll kind of get right to it. I think everybody knows who Konica Minolta is and knows what you guys do. So very, very fortunate and thank you very much for coming on the show today. But you guys had a major announcement that dropped in the afternoon yesterday. You have an organizational change, let's call it, right? And so you've realigned some things, you've moved some people around, you've done some stuff. So with that, why don't you tell us what you did?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Appreciate it. So first off, a couple of things. You saw earlier in our quarter, I did a realignment of our executive staff. So we moved some key individuals out of existing roles, put them into corporate functions to really help me better manage the business and work with those key individuals to drive deeper into the organization and put more focus in key areas. So that was completed. The second portion, which just took place, was a realignment of our US and Canadian operations. So start out with our direct channel. And as you know, Terry Dixon now has taken on responsibility for both US and Canada for our direct business. In Canada, he'll be responsible for both direct as well as dealer. So that's a fairly big change, excuse me, for Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's the right person for the job. He's led the direct channel for several years. So that was a natural progression for us.
So you're gonna ship him off to Mississauga, or is he gonna get to stay in Ramsey?
He'll stay in out of actually Chicago.
Oh, okay.
He lives there. But so that's a big change for Terry.
Yep.
No change to our dealer support channel. So that stays intact with Laura. Mike Matei, who is running our Canadian operation, has moved into a corporate job and will now oversee several critical functions of the business. So now within our direct channel, what we have opted to do is go from 4 regions to 2, which in itself is a fairly major structural change. But we believe that the way that we've aligned this business now with 2 regions, it's definitely higher levels of accountability for us. But the change really wasn't driven by 4 to 2. It was 4 to 2, but then we took key individuals and we put them into new roles. So as part of this restructure, we now have a dedicated vice president, Rupa, that will oversee all of our outbound and go-to-market activities for what we call CX2, primarily focused on the SMB market within our channel. So a high-level focus now on the SMB segment, and our intent is to attack that market aggressively with both our managed IT offering, again, specific for SMB, our IIM business, document management, content management, software technology, and our core products. So a full responsibility now on a national basis to run our outbound teams, aggregate those resources with a higher level of focus on SMB.
Awesome. Very cool. So Mike, actually, I just went to an event that Mike is a big part of. I got to go to one of the Wayne Taylors. I saw Wayne there. I got to hang out with Wayne. He has one of these hats now and he remembered it. And we talked about it, but that's Mike's project. So now he's got a nice new title too. What's it? CO? Is he COO or what did he turn into?
No. So Mike's going to be basically our chief of staff.
Chief of staff. Okay, I knew he got
running those portions of. So Mike will have responsibility for our admin, logistics, marketing.
Yeah. And he
Our,
did Latin America before, and
yeah,
he's
very,
been all,
very, very seasoned,
yeah.
executive.
Yeah, awesome. And so
And
Canada, you've tightened up quite a bit. I did see some other news. So up in Canada, we're all used to the all covered brand down here, but up there you have IT Weapons, which is a very similar kind of setup, right? It's
it is.
it's locations that offer IT with I'll just say it, a much cooler name than All Covered. All Covered's a nice name, a good name, a solid, dependable name, but IT Weapons just sounds like, every time I see a press release with that brand on it, it's always kind of cool. So
Right.
so that's all going to come folding under one. That's going to consolidate as well.
That is. So I'll finish with direct.
Okay.
There's still one more piece. And then Steve Rohr, who ran our
Yes.
division, now will head up our DX initiative in indirect. So helping really drive more synergy into the direct channel. So he'll be working very closely with Todd Croteau and Glenn Mathis on the all covered side to go drive that. So now we have very discrete areas of accountability. So we have 2 individuals on the core under Terry Dixon.
Yeah.
Still reporting to Terry Dixon, we'll have an SMB leader, right? That will also take on our CX2, right? Our e-commerce platform and help drive that. We have an individual driving DX for all covered in IIM that will help drive that piece. And then the last component is our enterprise group. So now every day, each one of these groups will wake up with a very clear focus on the customers that we choose to serve and driving higher level of value. So that was the direct channel. Again, no change to our dealer channel structure at all. And then, as you had alluded to, we've been working really over the last year with All Covered to create what we call a borderless approach.
Mm-hmm.
And the borderless approach now is bringing our resources and our management team into an organizational structure that will allow our direct as well as our dealer channel tap into the right resources. What we've learned over time is customers don't care where people are located, right? What they care about is subject matter expertise.
Sure.
And it's very, very difficult to staff every single core competency for every single product across the US in every market. It's just not possible. So by bringing in what we call central services, we now have the ability to share resources regardless of location, regardless of territory. So
it seems like you're integrating it more as well. I've noticed the Konica Minolta and the Forza products and the all cover products are now integrated onto the Konica Minolta website. It's not such a standalone company. It really seemed for many years to be positioned as almost its own company, and now it's definitely becoming more part of, I mean the fact that it's all in one website now, right?
Correct. Yeah, we did make that change. And part of this this change obviously is the reinvestment in the business. So we're reinvesting heavily into our marketing activities, our data analytics, making sure that we are providing our sales organization with more information about the customers that touch our webpage, the things that they're looking at, so that when we pick the phone up, we have better information to address those customer needs and concerns and hopefully accelerate those sales activities. So I feel pretty good about where we're at, the changes that were made. And then lastly, the big change that I see for the future and how we've organized the go-to-market structure, it is about the customer, right? And people talk a lot about customer centricity. The only way to get there is to have a deep domain understanding by vertical. And over the past, I would say 3 to 4 years, we have slowly been verticalizing our sales teams. So now we have dedicated healthcare teams, legal teams, finance teams, government teams, state and local, and then the management teams that sit above those are focused on those markets as well. So we're going to go deep into these vertical markets. The structure now allows us to, coordinate better. So fewer, resources across the organization at the management level that have higher levels of responsibility to go drive the business. So that's the big change, that we recently made. I'm excited about this. I think, we're really well positioned for now the coming years for us to accelerate DX, better align with our customers, build out our, marketing organization and the data analytics behind it, and then having specific focus in SMB, enterprise, mid-market, and verticals now allows us to really focus from a customer centricity standpoint and go drive this business forward.
So DX was a big part of your dealer meeting that you guys held earlier this year. When was that? Maybe April or so.
April.
And that was, you had several breakout sessions. We sat through. Part of the main session had a dedicated presentation on your DX strategy. So this is just sort of, not unexpected that you would staff up and really, focus a lot of your reorganizations and restructuring on making this a big part of the future going forward. So is this kind of it for now? Are all the pieces in place now, or is this still, we've got some more things we're going to do? Where does everything stand now?
Yeah, so from an org standpoint, this is it. You're never done, Andy, as you know.
Right.
But like I said, from a go-to-market standpoint, these were, I believe, really good changes. Organization. The other piece that we did put in place is now what we call shared services. So we consolidated all of our corporate resources. So whether you're in finance, legal, IT, our admin and logistics group, we now have brought that under one umbrella for US and Canada. And by virtue of that, you select the best managers.
Sure.
Will run those portions of the business now.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we took a little bit of expense out of the business, but that's
Sure.
not why we did this. The main push is operational efficiency. So, the next piece where I'm going to turn my focus now that this piece is completed is going to be some inward focus around operational excellence through whether it's order entry, our admin process, our what we call our end-to-end process from the time that we write an order all the way through the time that we invoice and collect cash. We've got a huge initiative underway to introduce more automation through that process, take out expense.
Yeah.
And when you take out expense, what this allows you to do is now take employees that do what I call mundane tasks.
Yeah, get them doing real work.
And give them things that add real value to the business and look at driving, better efficiencies, and hopefully, the end result is a better customer experience.
Yeah. Yep. I think, nobody wants to do those boring jobs. They would love to get some of that automated so that they can do, more satisfying, more gratifying work, right? There's a lot of jobs that used to be done that we don't do anymore, right? A lot of envelopes, a lot of stamping. There's a lot of automation's gone on over the years, and it'll continue. And so, especially as AI continues to develop and the DX and all that. And so that's the direction we're going. It's kind of nice to see taking advantage of that, leveraging that. One last question. I just, out of curiosity. So was these changes organizationally, was this just a unique thing to the US market, or are they going through these types of reorganizational situations in Europe, in Australia, and Konica Minolta? Is this a global initiative to, okay, we're getting through the pandemic, every subsidiary needs to now, refocus, restructure, give us the new plan? Or is this just unique to us?
Right. So I think US, we've always led in this area, right, from an innovation standpoint. I will say this, this concept of shared services is something that we've promoted here in the US. And recently, Todd Croteau, who is president of our all covered, portion of the business, has taken on additional responsibility globally. So what we just did in US and Canada for IT services and now for shared services, Todd's leading an initiative globally to do exactly the same thing for IT services and IIM now on a global basis. So this is just, good sound business practice. And what you need to be able to do as a large organization, it's leverage resources and put them in front of customers at the right time.
Yeah.
And I'll just go back to my earlier point, which is, look, the market's competitive. Finding people is very difficult. So you have to constantly think about your business, how to best serve your customer. And we believe that by breaking down and having a borderless approach, both domestically as well as globally, this will allow us to gain access to talent around the world, put them in front of customers, and help customers solve, big problems. So it is a global initiative. We are working diligently with our IT services portion of the business with Todd and moving that along at a quicker basis. Also on our enterprise accounts, I've been here 14 years now, and I can say this, over the past 12, I've been heavily involved in global, and we've made some big strides in leveraging people and resources across the world to support customers and help them, on a global basis. So we're getting there. We're still not 100% of the way complete, but the work is underway. We're making really good progress to, again, really accelerate this borderless approach.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Sam, thank you so much for taking the time. I know, you must be very busy with this announcement just coming out yesterday afternoon like that. Really, really big news for you guys. Congratulations on the restructuring, and excited to see how things go moving forward, especially the initiative in DX, and it's going to be fun for us to watch. I can tell you that. So, you guys have been a very, very strong leader in certain areas, and this is one of them now. And we expect some good things from you. So keep it up, and thanks for taking the time today.
Great. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
Take care, Sam.